Now, understandably so, a lot of people are frustrated with Sims 4 or even not playing it right now. But Electronic Arts is revealing that The Sims is doing better than ever in expanding its audience. However, this earnings call makes me ask at what cost? Now, this is the Q4 earnings call for 2025, and as usual, you have a long presentation to sort through and your usual PR statements from our favorite CEO, Andrew Wilson, and company. But what does this say about Sims 4 in the future of the Sims franchise? Well, before I get into this, I will say they seemed pretty pleased with the performance of the last expansion pack, aka Businesses and Hobbies seems to have sold fairly well. While we don't have metrics, they did mention it as one of the key contributors for Sims 4 doing well. That said, I want to hop into this because they are talking about the future of the Sims franchise, and even if you're totally done with the Sims franchise, I gotta tell you, as I've expressed in so many videos, this could be the same direction other gaming companies are going, so it's definitely good to stay on top of this news. Now, first things first, of course, we know that EA is relying on live services, including their massive online communities. Their massive online communities do include The Sims, as well as their sports division, Apex Legends, Madden, and Battlefield. That said, I'm assuming you're here to learn what our favorite CEO had to say about The Sims, and let me tell you, while there are some repetitive ideas here, they are a little bit juicy. The Sims franchise delivered over 30% net bookings growth in Q4, in part driven by the 25th birthday celebrations that sparked both player engagement and accelerated re-engagement, and I think re-engagement is the key. The re-release of legacy titles combined with targeted updates aligned to our broader franchise roadmap. Now, I don't have a firm definition for casual spenders. I'm assuming when they say casual spenders, they mean people like me who might skip some packs if they think they are problematic. That said, re-releasing legacy titles, I will say they didn't do it very well. They had to do many patches to actually improve the stability, but I hope they really think about why that did reignite some engagement. And maybe, just maybe, it could speak to people wanting quality gameplay. But unfortunately, this is Electronic Arts, and I don't think that's going to be their takeaway. Because, as a reminder, they see Sims not just as a game, but as an entertainment platform. It was a pivotal year for our entertainment pipeline, setting up significant period of growth and innovation. As we celebrated the 25th birthday of The Sims, the franchise delivered double-digit year-over-year growth in net bookings in Q4. This growth reflects re-engagement and the continued impact of our strategy, and their strategy is to expand the global audience and elevate community connections. Highlights for this release include the new expansion pack, the return of Sims 1 and 2, and of course the launch of more creator-made kits. This marks the best Q4 net bookings performance for the franchise ever, and paves the way for continued expansion. So, it is true there are other players, long-term players, dropping out of Sims, but it seems that they are making up with new players. Even if tons of players skip out on The Sims or even take a break, it seems their outreach efforts are working, for better or for worse. And it also sounds like the new expansion pack they were fairly pleased with. Now we could go more into the pros and cons of these strategies, and also why the past expansion packs seem to be a hit, but that will be saved for another video because I want to quickly get to these other remarks, which I think are pretty important. As we look to the future of The Sims, our vision is to continue to build the franchise into one of the world's most powerful creator platforms, where self-expression, social connection, and user-generated content converge in exciting ways. In the following fiscal year, we will continue to empower a new generation of creators and players to shape culture, community, and commerce. Now, I do have tons of concerns about this. First of all, it says marketplaces and social spaces, and long ago they took the posting down, but they did have a job posting about a marketplace. In addition, we also know there's going to be the Sims Hub, which will have a shared gallery. So none of this is surprising, but it is concerning. Empowering a new generation of creators and players. Now, as I've said so many times before, I have no problems with trying to draw in new players, but I do think they are forsaking their current players. Where in the strategic plan does it consider the long-term fans? Where does it consider the original intent of The Sims? What I worry about is they're going with the over-expansion policy, and while for now I gotta admit it does seem to be working for them for The Sims, I wonder at what point they really lose sight of what this franchise was. Again, maybe they're just leaving players like me behind, but it just seems like the focus is not on the current players whatsoever. But of course, it would not be an earnings call without the mention of AI technology. We view AI as a powerful accelerator of creativity, innovation, and player connection. Across our teams, we're investing in new workflows and capabilities to integrate AI in order to enhance how we build, scale, and personalize experiences, from dynamic in-game worlds to delivering authentic athlete and team likeness. Now, of course, they are talking about all their games as a whole, but this is still important to consider. Now, as I've said so many times before, it's not just AI good or AI bad. There are many forms of AI, so I'm not inherently against incorporating some forms of AI. In fact, some forms of AI have been in the Sims franchise since the very beginning. But I do take some issue with saying it's going to personalize experiences. That is a big hole we could get into and talk about more in future videos. All that said, this statement doesn't say too much. I know some people instantly react when they say AI, but like I say so many times before, I believe AI technology should be a tool, not a replacement. As for the rest of the call, EA did not have the best financial quarter ever by any means. They had some issues with their sports games, but it does appear to have exceeded expectations. I also wanted to show you really quickly the net bookings by platform. The darkest color, navy blue, represents console, followed by PC and other, and then finally mobile. Nonetheless, console players are still important for EA's overall strategy. While it may not appear that way for Sims, console players are actually still quite important for Electronic Arts. Of course, all that said, I didn't get into the weeds of their full financial report, but I did want to cover about the possible implications for the Sims franchise. Again, I'm not saying it's all negative, and if they actually looked at it and really thought about it, they might stop and ask, why was the expansion pack popular, and also why was releasing Sims 1 and Sims 2 popular. If only they looked at Sims 1 and Sims 2 and the love for those games, and they really thought more about the reason behind it, maybe we could see some improvements. But as always, this is the call for investors, and we don't see such insights here. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Of course, I will always be looking for good news if I do see it, but I appreciate you so much. Please take care, and I'll see you in the next video.